Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. Alright guys, the movie that we're talking about today is MIDSOMMAR. You're probably wondering, what's this movie? I've never heard of it. Not surprising. It's an American-Swedish film. It's folk horror. Something along the lines of the original Wicker Man. By extension, its remake. And it's directed by Ari Aster. You're probably also wondering, well, who's that? You may not have heard of him, but I guarantee you know his last movie. Yeah, to give you a nice idea of what kind of movie I'll be talking about today. As for the cast, it's also got a few names that you're probably not familiar with. There's Florence Pugh. She's been in Fighting with My Family, which came out earlier this year. She was in Lady Macbeth, and she'll be in the upcoming Black Widow movie. There's also Jack Reynor. He's been in Sing Street, Free Fire, and last year's Kin. There's also William Jackson Harper. You'll recognize him from The Good Place. I think the most recognized face will be Will Poulter. He's been in movies like Detroit and the Maze Runner movie, so he's a bit more mainstream. So what's the movie about? It's basically about Florence Pugh's character, Danny. She just suffered a horrible family loss. Her sister committed murder-suicide with her parents. So now, she's leaning on her boyfriend for support. So in order to get away from it all, Christian has a roommate and a friend who invites them to Sweden to celebrate a big midsummer celebration that only happens once every 90 years. At first, things seem innocent enough. Pretty sights, meeting new people, trying psychedelic drugs. But the longer the group stays here, they start to realize that maybe this isn't the wholesome commune that they were led to believe it was. Rather, it's a pagan cult, and they've got some seriously fucked up shit in store for all outsiders. So I'm just going to get this out of the way, guys. I love this movie. I really, really do. And if you're looking to get fucked up this weekend, Midsummer is a good way to do it. Make no mistake, though. If you are not good with horror films, if you're not good with violence, if you're not good with disturbing shit, do not see this movie. I usually don't care about the fucked up shit, but this shit fucked me up. So let's get into it. What about this movie do I really like? The easiest thing I can say is the acting. Florence Pugh is quickly turning into one of my favorite actresses to come out in recent years. She's the main star of the movie, and she's just fantastic. She deserves all the praise that she's getting. But really, everybody does a great job. Jack Reynor, William Jackson Harper, Will Poulter. The film's opening is actually quite perfect in setting up both the tone and the pacing for the rest of the film. It starts off with Danny getting cryptic messages from her sister, who's also bipolar, that almost look suicidal in nature. This naturally makes her worried, so she's constantly calling her parents. No one's picking up. She talks to a friend for comfort, starts talking about her relationship with Christian, and how she's worried that maybe she's a little too clingy, and should she give him more space, and all this other stuff. Their relationship is clearly not perfect. But then shit hits the fan. We find out that her sister, her parents, both dead. Well, shit, this is a family picture, clearly. Should have brought the kids. Should have brought grandma. Definitely one of my favorite aspects about this movie is that it's not a traditional horror film, in that it doesn't have a fetish for cheap and pointless jump scares. The movie is actually structured in the same way as The Witch was, if you saw that back in 2016. You have something disturbing in the beginning, and then something disturbing in the middle, and then the ending just sort of fucks you up. This movie is absolutely a slow burn. You have to wait, and you have to wait patiently to get to the fucked up shit. Now bear in mind, slow burn movies are really tricky to do. Because you don't have a lot of jump scares every 5-10 minutes, you have to fill out that space with good characters, character development, and or atmosphere. I will definitely say that the characters may not necessarily be all that deep. In fact, they're kind of stuck, if you really think about it. But at the same time, where the movie makes up for it is in the atmosphere. This movie leaves you in a state of constant discomfort. From the moment that you arrive at this convent, you know that something is not right. The people are too friendly, the setting is too beautiful, it's a paradise that you know is too good to be true. But you just don't know how yet. And the way they build that up is absolutely masterful. Another thing that I love are the special effects. Not saying this movie has a lot of like CGI or anything, but I think it perfectly captures what it's like taking hallucinogens. The very first scene where these characters are high is actually quite hilarious. Dude, what time is it? It's nighttime, man. That makes no sense! The sky is blue! That shit killed me. But then you get like trippy visuals, like you see Danny look down at her hand, and her hand is like being impaled by a bunch of grass blades. And it looks fake, but it also looks weird, painful. There's another scene, far into the film where she looks down at her feet, and her feet look like tree branches or roots. Again, looks weird, but it looks great. But even better, there's a recurring effect where these characters are high. Look at the background. It gets all distorted and shit and makes you feel like you're getting just as high as the characters are. It's pretty trippy, and it's a beautiful effect. Now, this whole time, I've been talking about all this fucked up shit that happens in this movie, but I've not actually talked about it yet. So, let's rectify that and talk about it. So let me paint a picture for you. Insofar, the characters have just been minding their own business and have just been enjoying the scenery, the people, all that good stuff. During a particular dinner scene, you know that there's something on the horizon featuring the village elders or whatever they are. So the very next scene, this is what you get. Everyone's crowded around the base of this giant cliff, right? At the bottom of this cliff is a giant boulder. You look up top. You see those village elders again. They're standing at the edge of that cliff. You know where I'm going with this. They jump. But what happens as a result of that jump is what fucks you up. Oh yeah, she's aiming for that boulder. She does a nice little bounce too. And in a slow-mo, when you see her bounce back up, her face is just off. Still attached and off. Insert reference there, but the face is off. It is smashed. You guys don't understand. You get an eyeful of that effect. I am 90% certain that was not CGI. I'm not saying anybody committed suicide in this fucking movie. I'm pretty sure nobody would let it be released in theaters. But I am saying it looks fucking real. Like, pieces of her are, like, visible. Like, there's a hole. There's a hole in her face. I'm talking about the mouth. There's a hole. The face is no longer face. It's a hole with just meat, bone protruding through the skin. My reaction the entire time was, Jesus Christ. But it doesn't end there. There's one more village elder. You want to know what he does? He doesn't go face first this time. Oh no. No, that'd be too easy. He goes feet first. Feet first. Unlike the last person who died instantly, this person suffers. He screams. Blood-curdling agony. And what does everyone around here do? They do two things, actually. Thing number one, they get 3 people with a giant mallet and bash the old fucker's head in. Say that again. 3 people get a mallet and bash the fucker's head in. What the fuck am I watching, man? What the fuck are any of us watching? Thing number 2, they try to justify it. They say, isn't it better to die with dignity and for a greater cause than to die old and useless?
From this point on, you do get some tropes, like people start disappearing, and you have no idea what happened to them, but you know that there's going to be some payoff toward the end, and believe me, if you're okay with the movie so far, you're not going to be disappointed later on. It gets so much worse. I won't go into spoilers, but trust me, it's worth it. So it sounds like I'm giving this movie the highest of praise, right? And I am. So someone out there is probably asking, do I have any problems with the movies? Do I think it has any faults? To that I say, there's one, and yeah, it's pretty glaring when you think about it. A bit of a heads up though, the movie is 2.5 hours long. I'll leave it up to you to decide if that's time you want to commit. But that's not the problem. Now that horrible, awful scene that I just described to you, where do you think that falls in the film's runtime? Is it in the middle of the movie? It is not. At least I don't think it is. It's probably closer to like half an hour to 40 minutes in. So with that in mind, you're probably thinking to yourself, the movie should be over by now. Everyone who's not part of this convent should be so traumatized and so disturbed right now, they're getting the fuck out of Dodge. Take a fucking wagon, steal a fucking horse, and if neither of those are at your disposal, get your balls out of your purse and hoof it until you get to civilization. Even if it's 100 miles away, nobody in their right mind would stay in that place. They fucking do. And I'm not gonna lie, their justification for it is absolutely stupid. Christian and his friend Josh, played by William Jackson Harper, decide that they want to stay to write their thesis on this convent. What? Now, I'm not going to lie. This is probably a scene that's going to make or break the rest of the movie for a lot of people. I can see people walking out of the movie right here, right now, saying, nope, there's nothing that this movie can do to justify me watching the rest of it because whatever happens, these characters bring it upon themselves. This is absolutely true. It's obvious that logic was removed from the film in order to progress the story artistically. They stay simply because the script demanded it. The more I think about that, the more it makes me mad. But then I remember, oh yeah, they do something with this. They continue with great visuals, and like I said, the payoff for when you find out what happens to everyone is absolutely breathtaking and sickening and nauseating. So my honest rating for Midsommar is a strong 4 out of 5. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. I'm still playing catch-up on some films that I haven't seen yet that have been out for a while. This includes Wild Rose and Annabelle Comes Home. But I'm still going to make time for the new films like The Lion King, The Art of Self-Defense, and Sword of Trust. So keep your eyes out for more reviews. Have a great day, guys. Hope to see you soon.